Hi everyone, it's Tammy, and today I'm going to show you how to do a triple layer card similar to this one, only I'm going to use different colors, but I'm going to use the same stamp set and hopefully make it as cute as this, if not cuter. So the first thing that you need to do is pick out what designs you want to use. I like to use either a solid color or something with a very subtle pattern on it, such as this designer series paper that has been retired from Stampin' Up. I don't even know how old it is, but it's been around for a while. And I don't even exactly know what color. I'm kind of thinking it might be Pear Pizzazz. I'm not exactly sure. And honestly, that part doesn't matter. So it really doesn't matter. Use something that you have, just some either designer series paper or pattern paper with a subtle pattern, or just plain paper. And then you'll also need some Whisper white paper or whatever you have that's equivalent. And we're going to cut them at 3 different sizes. Now, if you wanted to, you could use a different color card base. I just went ahead with the regular A2 size card base. It's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that I cut at 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. So the end up card is 4 1/4 by 5.5, and this is a standard A2 size card. So I also cut a piece of designer series paper to match that same size so that it fits right on top. So this is cut at 5.5 by 4 1/4. And you can just place that right on top. And then next will come a piece of white cardstock that is cut 1/4 inch smaller than this one. So this is 5.5 by 4 1/4. This is 5 1/4 by 4. And it will just make a nice background to that one. And then what I did is I skipped 1/2 inch and I went in and I cut the next layer of designer series paper. So you can kind of know that this was cut at 4 by 5 1/4. This one is cut at 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. Whew. All you really need to know is go in 1/2 inch instead of 1/4 inch that you usually do. Most of the time when we layer cards, we go 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. Skip that next 1/4 inch and go in 1/2 inch. And there you go. And then do 1/4 inch for this one. Then skip the 1/4 inch and go in 1/2 inch for this one, and then go in 1/4 inch. So hopefully that made it easier for you, because if I say it like that to myself, it makes it a lot easier. I don't even really have to measure. I just know I cut this one the same size as the card, this one 1/4 inch smaller, this one 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. So I just go in while I'm cutting and just cut them all at the same time. I will try to remember to put the measurements down below so that if you need them, you'll have them. But it's if your mind works like me, it's easier just to know 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. And then I also cut a piece that is, I believe this one's 2 inches. Let me find out for sure. This one's 2 1/4 by 1 inch. And this one is 1/4 inch smaller, so it fits right on top. This is 3/4 inch by 2. And that's just a little extra piece. Now I'm going to be using some non-Stampin' Up products because Lord knows I have them, and just because I'm in Stampin' Up demonstrator doesn't mean I'm getting rid of everything that I have and won't use them again. I don't see any reason to replace all of my inks with the Stampin' Up inks and all of that. I might like the Stampin' Up inks better, but I still have good use of my old inks, and I'm not going to get rid of them yet. So bear with me, and if I can find an equivalent. Actually, you don't even need to know an equivalent. What you need is, for this stamp set, it is a 3-layer stamp set. It is the What I Love from Stampin' Up. So 1, 2, 3 layers. And then it has a couple greenery things. I'm going to use this one. Excuse me. So I'm using the topiary color for the greenery. And then for the 3 flower sets, I'm using Spring Iris, Lilac Mist, and Amethyst. I have not put these colors together. I just thought I wanted some purple. I looked at my stash to see what I have, and I came up with these 3. This one's a little bit bluish, but it's called Lilac Mist, so I'm hoping it will go on a little more purpley, but it doesn't really matter. I just know that I want my lightest color to be this one, No, I don't. I want my medium color to be this one, my lightest color to be this one, and my darkest color to be this one. That just works out best for me because this one has the most detail. So I like this one to be the medium one. This one has the most detail, so I like for that one to be the lightest one. And this one has the least but boldest, so that's going to be the darkest one. So I go medium, light, dark, which is how I have it here. Medium, light, dark. At least I think. I might do a sample of each one just to make sure that I'm correct in my thinking. But okay, let's get started making this card. It's really quite simple and it's really quite fun to make. And if you have a Post-it note or if you have this Post-it tape, it really helps a little bit. So I'm going to get out a little piece of that. You don't need very much. And if you don't have this Post-it tape, you can just use a Post-it note. It will do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of, well, the small pieces I don't need. And then I'm going to get rid of all of the green and the cardstock because I don't need that. So I just need the three layers of white, not including the baby one. And I'm going to put them on my Misty because I love this thing. And I'm putting it straight down, and then this over it where it would be centered, and this over that where that would be centered. And you want to do it fairly, I mean, you don't want to do it all haphazardly. And then I'm going to put my Post-it note paper right there just to kind of help hold them along with my magnets. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the greenery and I'm just going to kind of make a background first. So to do that, oops, I'm just going to take my green stamp and put it somewhere. And you kind of want them to go over all three layers. I wouldn't want to do them all like in between the layers. The whole point is to let you see a little bit on each layer. So you kind of want to spread it across all three layers if you can. And then I'm just going to stamp it or ink it, and then I'm going to stamp it down. And I didn't think I got a very good inking. You want to get a fairly good inking, and because this has the layers, you're not going to get it right between in the crevices. That's okay, don't worry about that at all, because the green layer is going to go in between it, or your colored layer will go in between it. And I have done this with all sorts of different colors and different stamp sets. It doesn't have to be flowers and leaves. It could be, I don't know, whatever you have. I know I've done it with some pigs and something else. It's just kind of fun. Let your imagination run wild. You can do whatever you want. And when I'm doing background paper, I just like to do it haphazardly, and I like to put the background piece in different positions. So sometimes it's going to be facing up, sometimes down, sometimes cockeyed, sometimes crazy. That's okay. Sideways. It kind of makes it more realistic. I'm going to stamp this just a little bit more, see if I can get a little bit more on that crease. But if not, I'm not going to worry about it because I know my paper is going to go there and it will be okay. Now I put this Post-it note here, so I'm going to hold this really tight, and then I'm going to try to pull my Post-it note up. Shouldn't be a problem. I just need to find a starting spot because I didn't think about that when I put it down. There we go. So without moving my papers, I'm just moving this Post-it note to a different spot so that I can get this area too. That one might have only gone on 2 layers, but that's okay. I just don't want it to be on just 1 layer. If you put it on 2 instead of 3, no sweat. Unless you're doing the very edge, then that can be on just 1 layer. That's fine. And I might even do that on one of them here. And then let's see, I think I want another one up here. kind of going over onto the actual stamp. So let's see, where else might I want one? I haven't really done one like in the middle, so I'm going to go for that. And for those of you that haven't heard of this, of the Misty, I love this thing. This one is the small Misty, and you get them from My Sweet Petunia. If you get them straight from her, they're a lot cheaper than I've seen other places that you can get them. So I would go straight to mysweetpetunia.com and purchase them. I think this one was like $45, and then the bigger one is maybe $60. And I know that that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. I'm not gonna lie. But it is a wonderful tool. I really enjoy it. It's so nice because I can stamp the same thing in more than one place. Oh, I don't like how those are going together there. Like if I don't stamp it well, like let's say I just stamped and it came like that and I'm like, oh no, I wanted a little darker. Because I have it all positioned in the same position, I can ink this up and stamp it again and it will go right where I'd left it, and it's just marvelous. And then if I was doing like 10 cards or however many cards, a million cards, and I wanted something to be in the same position every time, I could just leave the stamp on here and then change the card every time and put it against the corner so I'd know where it was, and every time it would be in the exact same spot. So now I'm going to take this Post-it note off, and I'm going to take these magnets off carefully, and I'm just going to lift my fingers up and look at it to see if I think that that looks good or if I think I want any more. I might do another one or two over here. Oops, and I just moved this, if you guys saw that. So I'm going to attempt to move it right back. That was not a good thing. You don't want to do that. Okay, I think I did all right. That was a boo-boo. You really don't want to do that. But it will be okay. It's a card, right? That's what I always say. We're stamping in real life, and it's just a card. Somebody's going to be happy to get it, and they don't know what it was supposed to look like. They only know what it does look like, and they're going to be happy. Thrilled, even. I'm going to put one right here, just because I'm kind of a weirdo. From what I understand, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator made this Misty. Now, they don't sell it with Stampin' Up!, of course, but I don't think she's a demonstrator anymore either, but how cool is that? I thought that was pretty neat. She had a need and filled it. So now with the Misty, what I like to do is just take a wet wipe and wipe off my stamp, and then of course wipe off this top, whatever this is called, because you get ink on that as well. So then, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take all of these off because I want to stamp just on this. It's just paper, and it comes with this paper with, I don't know, 3 or 4 sheets, but you can buy extra in a big pad. Oh, it comes with several sheets, and you can buy extra in a pad, and that's what I do. And then I also use both sides, so you have a little bit. And I'm just going to make sure that these are all like I thought they were, like the lightest to the darkest. And I'm probably just going to use one stamp. And I will say that the Close to My Heart ink pads, at least the old ones, I think this is an old one, I don't like how this lid sticks on there. I'd almost rather take it off. I even thought about doing that, but I don't know if I'd be able to get it back on. So I'm just going to stamp it directly onto this. And I don't care if I'm not getting it very well. I'm really just going for colors to see what the colors look like. And then I'll move it a little bit. Because I want medium, light, and then dark. So yeah, that's definitely just a different color. So I think it'll be all right. This is certainly the darkest. All right, yes indeed. That actually kind of looks blue too, so it's actually working out fine. I don't even care. I mean, really, it's going to be a pretty card regardless. So then I'm going to put this back down where I had it. And I'm going to put put my little thingy-mabobbers on there. And then I'm going to take the first one, which is this one, and I'm going to put this down where I think I want it. Now this one isn't so important that you get it off of the cards, at least not all of them. I don't care if there's one that's just on one card, that's perfectly fine to me. But if you don't like it, I mean, it's your card. Do it the way you want. You do you, I'll do me. So I just put this on here. I don't like the way those ink pads, you have to hold that lid, so it's kind of awkward, but we'll be all right. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp my other ones wherever I want those to. I usually try to do 3. I don't know if you guys have heard about the law of 3, but your eye is attracted to, it's not really the law of 3, I guess it's the odd numbers. Your eye, when you're looking at things, it finds it to be most pleasant when there's an odd number. I don't know why. I mean, they have a dozen roses, and that looks fine, but I don't know. Maybe it's when there's smaller numbers. I don't know, but that's what I was told, and that's kind of what I go with. And I have found that I do tend to agree with that. But sometimes, if you feel like, I mean, I might even do another one over here, so we'll see. I mean, it's just kind of whatever you feel like, but just plan on at least 3 of them. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did before, where I take these off very carefully and I look. And I definitely think I need something over here. I might even need something down here. So maybe I'll do the law of 3, or the odd law, but do it in 5 instead of 3. I really don't want that to be in the exact same spot as the one above it, so I'm moving it down just a little bit. And I might have gotten a little purple on there, but again, no big deal. And then I think I will do one more down here. Let's see, where do I want it? Right there, I guess. Now these stamps, the way that Stampin' Up! Did them, they have a little notch on them so that you can kind of make sure that you've got them in the same spot. That would have been useful had I done one after the other, but since I just kind of went haphazardly on this one, this is actually one stamp set that I love that you can do that with, because really, if you don't get the other ones in the exact same spot, it's really not a big deal. You can't even really tell, because it's hard to know which one was supposed to be next anyway. So to me, it does not matter. I just go for it and stick this, make sure that this is kind of in the middle. And yeah, that looks good. I mean, honestly, it's that easy on this particular stamp set, which is why I chose it to do this one. And this gets more and more awkward when it's in a weird position, so I'm going to move it this way just so I can ink this up. And sometimes with this ink, I just go back and forth, because if I don't, it kind of bubbles up on there. It's very weird. So I really do like the Stampin' Up! Ink better. I'm not lying with that, but again, I, you know, paycheck away from poverty just like everybody else, so I don't want to spend all my money on inks when I already have inks that I can use. See how it kind of looks bubbly a little bit? If you just go over it, wow. I don't know why it does that. I have no idea. No earthly idea. I don't know nothing about birthing that baby. It's not even late and I'm kind of slap happy. I haven't had anything to drink. Nothing. Just me. Aren't you lucky? Yes. Thank you, Fuzz. My cat said, yes, he's lucky. He says he'd be luckier if I would feed him. Are you hungry? Hmm? Yeah, you're hungry? Are you starving? Does it feel like Mama hasn't ever fed you? Huh? Yeah, oh no. That's how it feels. Oh, you're gonna come over and say hello to everybody? Is that what you're gonna do? Oh, say hello. Say hello. I'm Fuzzy Woo. I'm the prettiest woo dog in the whole wide world. Wanna say hi? Look up. Look up. Say hi. Look up. He's kinda trying. There you go. Look up. Say hi, everybody. I know you've seen me before. I like to star in Mommy's videos. I like to be a big star because that's what I am. I know I should be on TV. Oh, I love you, baby. And Mama, do some work and then I'll feed you, okay? I promise that I will feed you. I promise. I won't let you starve to death. No, I won't. Crazy monkey kitties. His motor's running. I'm talking about you. You know I am. I love that little kitty cat. Okay, so now we're going to take the last one after you've gotten all those done. You take the last one, which for this one is this little piece right here. And you can do this with one stamp or the double stamp, or this one just happens to be a triple stamp. You don't have to do it with a triple stamp. You don't have to do it with a double stamp. You can just do it with a single stamp, just like those little leaf things, and it looks just great. Just, I don't know, I thought I'd add a little, I don't know, difficulty, if you can even call that difficulty. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm going to stamp a little harder. There we go. Pretty, pretty, pretty. And then 3 more, don't you know? Oops. Well, that wasn't good. There. Between the awkwardness of the Misty trying to, and I think I do it backwards. I think most people do it with it flipped this way so that they're using their right hand. I don't know why I like it this way. Seems to be easier for me, kind of left-handed, I guess. I don't know, but these stamp sets do drive you crazy because if you didn't have this to worry about, it'd be a lot easier, but you also don't have a very good grip on this because, I don't know, it's just the way it's like curved in and stuff. So these aren't the best, but again, I'm doing 5 little flowers. It's okay. I can deal with it. Just you guys have to watch my pain. So I sometimes don't use stuff that's awkward because I want you guys to feel like this is really easy and something that you can do. But trust me, it's really easy and something that you can do. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay, so there's that. So let's put this back. Let me clean this off. And I would suggest that you clean this off after every color and clean it even if you don't see anything on it if you do get one of these, just because there may be something there and you wouldn't want to ruin your project just because you didn't see anything. So now you can go ahead and take this off, and I'm actually going to leave this on here. It's Post-it paper, so it will come straight off, and then if I want to use it again on another project, I can. So I'm just leaving it just like that. And here we go with the card. Now right now it doesn't look great. It's okay. I mean, it doesn't look awful. And you know, it's like, oh, okay, that's something. But just wait, it's gonna look so much better here in just a minute. So what I like to do is start with the smallest and put it on here. And the reason I like to build it up that way is because if I start with the largest, it's a little harder to line it up because you're not lining this up with those, with where it doesn't have any. You're lining the flowers up with each other. So it's a little difficult if you do it the other way. A little more difficult, I think, than doing it this way. So I take the smallest piece and I just line that right up on my background paper. High fives. And then, oops, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to line it up with this one. And I want to kind of line up the flowers, but make sure that like the little white spots that you got are kind of covered. Like, see how that is white right there? I'm going to cover that up with this while still being in line with the rest of the stamps. Oh my goodness. And then I'm going to take this one and line it up in the center of my designer series paper. And then I'm going to line this up with this one. And this is where the green kind of helps, because you can kind of get a good idea for how the leaves are going. And then I'm going to take this and line it up in the center of this. It's already looking pretty cool. And then if you wanted to put a bow or something on it, this would probably be where I'd suggest doing that. I'm not putting a bow on this one. And then I'm taking this and I'm going to just line this up on top of this. Now I can see that I am crooked, so what I'm going to do is try to carefully lift this up. And we'll place it back down. Okay. Isn't that cool? It looks so cute. Now I can see that I messed up and have a little bit of purple there and a little purple there, so I can either try to cover those up and I'll show you how, or I can leave them. It doesn't really matter. And then I can decide which way I want my card. Do I want it to go this way or do I want it to go this way? And I think that because I have these weirdo things here, I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to see if I can't cover at least one of them up with this, and I sure can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to notch this with my scissors. One easy way to do this is to cut up in the center about 1/4 inch and then take your scissors and from the corner to where you notched up. So from the corner to where I notched up, and then it gives you a nice tab. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. You can eyeball it too if you're good at that, and I do that sometimes, but other times this is an easier way. Actually, all times this is an easier way. I just don't always do it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write on here first. I'm going to write congratulations, and then before I put it down, I'm going to write it because if I screw up, I can use the other side. And I'm going to give this to someone at work who just got married yesterday. And it was just a quiet wedding. He said him, his new wife, and their kids, and that's it. This pen is not working very well, so let me see if I have another one that I can just write over it with it. And if you have a stamp that you want to use, that's fine. I tend to, if I'm just going to do one word or something, I tend to just write them. There we go. Alrighty. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put some tape on the back. And I'm going to put that on to this. And I'm just going to kind of go in a little bit and kind of center it, I guess. There we go. And then I'm going to pop dot this with a couple of pop dots or dimensionals. And I think that's how I'm going to do it. And that is it, folks. Isn't that cute? I just think that turns out really cute. And then I'm going to let everybody at work sign it on the inside so that we can wish him and his new wife a very happy, blessed life. So yeah, that's it. And it's just a really cool technique that looks really neat. And it looks like you spend a lot of time on it, but you guys saw how fast and easy that really is. And I'm sorry if it may have looked awkward and not easy, but with the Stampin' Up! Inks, I promise it's a lot easier. Actually, even with these close to my heart ones where you can turn it and just have something to hold on to, it's a lot easier. But yeah, it works with any stamp set, any colors, any designer series paper or plain paper or whatever you have. It's really versatile and really fun, and I hope that you guys try it. And I guess that's it. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.